Hi there, this is Solid Sharon from Solid Sharon Films, and welcome to another episode of I Am 4K. I know the last time I said I wasn't going to do any more, but this is just like a wafer thin mint episode of I Am 4K, and I can justify all of these choices honest. So the first two are Up and Wall-E, a couple of my favourite Pixars. Now I thought, as an experiment, I would buy a couple of Pixar films in 4K and see, is it worth actually upgrading to 4K with Pixar? And personally, I would probably say no. They do look slightly better, but the thing is with Pixar, they look so good in Blu-ray that really, for me at least, in my eyes, is not really that much of a leap to Pixar 4K. Obviously happy to have Wall-E and Up, because they are two of my favourite Pixars, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm going to go and get all my Pixars in 4K. Next, it's another Kubrick. This is Paths of Glory in 4K. This is the Kino Lorber. I saw it on eBay a little bit cheaper than I have seen it before, so I picked it up. This is just the 4K disc. There's no Blu-ray with the Kino Lorber. It does look rather nice in 4K, I have to say. The black and white cinematography. You do get a commentary by Tim Lucas in the theatrical trailer. So that's another Kubrick. I do seem to have quite a lot of Kubricks in 4K. And then next, from Second Sight, and yes, I buy the big boxes. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a lovely big box with the poster and really beautiful art cards. And again, very much like Martin, this is a film that you don't really want to see polished up and looking stunning, and you still want that grit, you still want that kind of nastiness. This is one of the few, you could argue this is actually the best of the video nasties. I mean, some of the video nasties are like 12 certificates nowadays, but probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Last House on the Left, The House at the Edge of the Park, obviously Cannibal Holocaust, are like some of them that actually still make you a little bit uncomfortable nowadays, and I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the best film out of that. The fact that it's got kind of socio-political stuff going on in it, the fact that you actually kind of feel sorry for Leatherface, because he has kind of taken the place of the mother in the family as well. That wonderful scene where he sits down by the window and he's kind of confused by what's happening because all these kids keep running into his kitchen, and of course he's forced to defend his kitchen. This does have a lovely hardback book, which is just absolutely jam-packed of essays and artwork, and it is one of the best hardback books that certainly Second Sight have produced. It's absolutely lovely. And you also get the film, which is quite nice. Again, really beautiful artwork. So you get 2 Region B Blu-rays and the 4K. There's new commentaries, there's a new retrospective documentary, which is really good. There's the old documentary in smell-o-vision almost. It's really a wonderful set, and again, such lovely cardboard, and again a film that I think does really stand up well. I mean, I talked about the two Pixars and how personally I don't really think Pixar's worth upgrading to 4K, but two of the most underrated animations of the 21st century I think definitely are worth a 4K upgrade, and that's Coraline. This is the Shout Factory steelbook with beautiful artwork. You also get a booklet, and this is a Blu-ray and the 4K, and so this is like Studio Leica and also Kubo and Two Strings, which again is just one of my favourite animations of the 21st century. Again, you get the 4K and the Blu-ray and the booklet. Again, these two are really underrated, really dark and wonderful and moving and fantastic. And I would say the animation style of Studio Leica, the 4K does enhance it, and the 4K does make them look even better than they looked in HD. Then some fairly recent releases, more Cronenberg. This is the Arrow 4K release of Naked Lunch, Exterminate All Rational Thought. And again, it looks really nice on 4K. You get the poster that we obviously never put up on our walls. Again, a really nice booklet. Not quite as nice as the second sight and the Chainsaw Massacre, but this one is absolutely stacked with new special features. You get art cards as well. It is just the 4K disc, no Blu-ray. This has obviously 4K and it looks rather nice in 4K, but you've got the commentary with Cronenberg. You've got a new commentary with film historian Jack Sargent and Graham Duff. You get a new interview with Jeremy Thomas for Turbine, the German company. You get a new interview with Peter Weller, which is a lot of fun. You get an interview with Peter Krzyzewski. You get a new interview with Chris Wallace, who did the special effects. You get a new interview with Howard Shore, who obviously has done quite a lot of work with Cronenberg. And you get a really fantastic piece by Tony Raines on William Burroughs and also Cronenberg, which I think in typical Tony Raines fashion is about half an hour. You get David Huckvale on Naked Lunch and Howard Shore, and also David Huckvale does a lot of work with Indicator, but here he talks about Naked Lunch enthusiastically. And there's a wonderful new visual essay by David Cairns, a ticket to Interzone. And then, as I said, you get Naked Making Lunch, the archival making of, directed by Chris Rodley, which also has a commentary by Chris Rodley about it. You get concept art gallery. It's just absolutely stacked of new things, as well as the stuff that's on the Criterion disc as well, Criterion Blu-ray, which I've got. I mean, it's really fantastic that we're getting Cronenberg in 4K. So I have Naked Lunch and Crimes of the Future and Videodrome and Crash. So we really need a 4K of Dead Ringers, I feel. I can feel that in my water, that we really need a 4K of Dead Ringers. And then we've got City of Lost Children in 4K, which was gorgeous on Blu-ray. It's even more gorgeous on 4K. Jean-Pierre Junot and Mark Caro's final collaboration after Delicatessen. And this is just wonderful dark fairy tale with Ron Perlman, amongst others. Dominic Pignon, who obviously with Juno and Perlman would appear in Alien 4. So it's great to have that. And then the final two, I'll try not to cry when I'm talking about them. A Double Life of Veronique on 4K from Curzon Artificial Eye. You do get the Blu-ray and the DVD, and you do get some of Kieślowski's short films on Blu-ray as well. So you get Musicians, Factory, Hospital, Railway Station, some of which were on the Arrow Academy release of Decalogue. This is just one of the most beautiful films of all time. I mean, yes, I have seen like 1-star reviews of this because people just think it's images and it doesn't mean anything and it's not about anything and it's just ethereal nonsense. Obviously that is complete nonsense. We get a conversation with Kieślowski, an interview with Irene Jacob, the documentary Kieślowski, Polish filmmaker, and as I said, we get 4 of his short films going back to 1958 to 1980. It looks gorgeous, but again I can't talk about it too much because I will end up crying because I'm still upset about Kieślowski's death. I'm trying to go over it. And then next, the 3 Colours trilogy. I mean, getting the 3 Colours on 4K and Double Life of Veronique was one of the reasons I went 4K at this, and the whole point of going 4K was for these, really. This almost feels like wallpaper / carpet. It's a very unique packaging. And then you get little windows. This is a Blu-ray and DVD set, which is, as I say, it's absolutely beautiful, just like the films. Yeah, I can't actually show you the whole thing outstretched because it's quite an achievement. You do get a little booklet, and again you get short films. You get a whole bunch of short films, some that are included on the Double Life of Veronique, and you get like an interview with Julie Delpy, but it's a fairly slim little booklet. You do get these wonderful art cards as well of the 3 leading ladies. Again, these are films very much like Leone and Morricone that you can't imagine them without Kieślowski and Zbigniew Preisner. They're just absolutely beautiful. I have watched Blue because it was like that. Oh yeah, I'll just see what it looks like, and then of course you end up watching the whole film. And I have dipped in and out of the other 2, and they look, I mean, I wouldn't say there is a huge leap to 4K, generally because they look so beautiful in Blu-ray, but there's certainly an improvement, I would say. But again, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh yeah, it's an absolute amazing upgrade. But again, that might just be my setup, or it might just be my eyes, which is very possible. And again, that's the interior box within the blue box. So certainly fantastic to get them in 4K. I would say there is an improvement on the image, but I wouldn't say it's a huge improvement. But what a beautiful release of beautiful films by a beautiful filmmaker that was taken way too soon, because who knows what he could have produced. Obviously he'd retired after the Three Colours, and then they'd announced that he was coming back to do Heaven, Hell and Purgatory, which obviously we never got, even though I think 2 of them have been filmed by other filmmakers. But as I've said in other videos, I haven't actually watched them because I don't think I could, even though, you know, some of them were his collaborators that directed them and they used his scripts, but it's too painful to even think about watching them. So this might definitely, I mean, what a way to go out if this is my last 4K video, to go out with Shizlowski films, because there's not much better than that. So thanks very much for watching this latest and possibly last, definitely this time, video of I Am 4K. Please let me know if you have any of these in 4K or essential 4Ks that I must pick up but not necessarily tell you about in a video. And hopefully you'll join me again for more videos that might not necessarily be 4K. So this is Solitude Ronin from Solitude Ronin Films, saying farewell.